The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Tucson, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32694. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting just under the front bumper, you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks. Moving up onto the face of the bumper on the passenger and driver side, you'll find dual air horns. Just inside of that location, you'll find 3 speakers containing the PA and siren. Moving on to the bumper extension, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Located directly in the center, you'll find a tubbed hose storage location. And moving to the right in the image, which is going to be the driver's side, you'll find a swivel 1.5-inch discharge. Moving up onto the body on the outer edge, you'll find a turn indicator. Just inward of that location, you'll find your headlight cluster, housing low and high beam headlights. The high beam is on the inside. Moving up from that location, you'll find 4 forward-facing emergency lights. Moving on to the outer edge of the body, you'll find your unit identifying number. And then moving just behind the Pierce logo is where you'll find the latch to release the hood. Moving up from that location onto the windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across the seamless windshield. Moving up from that location, you'll find marker lights located on the brow and also on the bucket area. And then moving up onto the top of the apparatus, you'll find side-facing emergency lights and forward-facing emergency lights. Up to the very top, you'll find your directional go light. As we look to the front of the apparatus on the bucket, you'll find 2 forward-facing emergency lights. Up from that location, you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge, ball valve controlled. And then to the other side, you'll find a 2.5-inch, which is reduced down to 1.5-inch ball valve discharge. Moving to the center, you'll find your master stream device. Let's move to the underside of this location, where you'll find 2 downward-facing floodlights. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find 2 bumper stops. Inside that location, you're going to find your drain. Just behind the drain is where you'll find your under bucket sprinkler. As we move to the very back, you'll find 2 closed attachment point hooks. And then there are 2 access points here located on the right and left side of the bucket area. Here's some close-ups of those images that we just talked about. Let's first start with the bucket on the sides. You can see ladder 1 just beneath that, side-facing emergency warning light. Same on the driver's side. Moving to the bumper area, this is the bumper extension. You'll find a tubbed storage location for your front bumper load. As we move to the body, you'll find your headlight cluster and emergency warning lights. And then just behind the Pierce logo, you'll find the latch mechanism for your hood release. Let's move to the driver's side, where you'll find a side-facing camera. As we move to the rear, you'll find your shoreline inlet. This is a 20-amp auto-eject plug. When plugged into shore power, the light next to it will illuminate. Let's take a look further back. In the lower section here, you have a smaller cab compartment just behind the rear access door. And then you'll also find a long tool storage or backboard storage location behind the 2 D-handled diamond plate compartment. Up onto the top of the body, you'll find a side-facing floodlight. Moving down from that location to the rear, you'll find your tank indicator. This will display the amount of water in your tank from quarter, half, 3/4 to full. Above that location, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. As we're at the midship location, you'll find 2 crosslays, the number 1 and also the 2.5-inch crosslay. Located just above that, above the grab handle, is where you'll find your intercom system. And then further to the right, you'll find a visual tank indicator for the amount of water in your tank. Quick image here of the pump panel area. We're going to start in the upper left-hand corner, first starting with your Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information can be utilized through this module. Please see your owner's manual for more information. Beneath that, you'll find a warning label regarding entanglement hazard because of those hoses coming above. Moving to the right, you'll find your intake relief valve. This is adjustable from right to left. Beneath, you'll find the electric transfer valve from pressure or volume. And then moving to the right, you'll find your discharges, which are color-coded and also labeled. Let's move to the gray area. This is going to be your master intake gauge. Moving just between that, you'll find your test gauge ports, which is for vacuum and pressure. They are currently plugged. And then to the right, you'll find your master discharge. Let's slide further to the right in the same area. We'll find an additional set of modules. This is your pressure throttle governor. In the upper left-hand corner, if illuminating, it will be the check engine in amber. Located in the center, you'll find a digital readout for the RPMs. And then to the right, you'll find, if illuminated, red, a stop engine. Beneath that and slightly to the left, you'll find your menu button, which is orange. Moving to the right, you'll find diagnostic engine information. You can see the icons just beneath pertaining to each of those modules. To the right, you'll find a red silence button, which will silence the audible alarm. Down to the left, you'll find the blue buttons, which are either pressure or throttle control. And then located in the center, you'll find a digital readout. Further to the right, you'll find a throttle ready indicator. If illuminated green, you may increase the throttle. Just down beneath that, you'll find a preset, which is green, which will allow you to preset pre-designated RPMs or pressure. Just beneath that, you'll find the throttle control, and in the center, if you push, that'll be the idle position. To the right, you'll find an audible alarm. The outer speaker bezel is the ability to dampen the sound. Moving all the way to the right, you're going to find a warning label here regarding fall hazard and not to ride on the side of the vehicle. Beneath that, you'll find the tank refill and recirculating line. To the right, you'll find a twist, not a pull. This is your engine cooler. And then just down from that location, you'll find your tank to pump. Further to the right, you'll find your Trident Air Prime, push to prime. This is for your fire pump. And let's go ahead and move back up to the set of switches here. We'll talk a little bit about those. If your pump is properly engaged, you'll find a green indicator regarding the pump engaged. You have a generator start-stop switch. This is the on-off for the generator. And then beneath that, you have two driver side scene lights, passenger side scene lights, and beneath that, an air horn, which is located in red. Beneath that, there is a future switch location if necessary or needed to be added at a later date. Let's move up to the right. This is going to be your panel switch. This allows you to turn on the panel lights. And then to the right, once again, that warning regarding fall hazard. Be cautious when climbing or moving around the apparatus. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll find this placard, which is your minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi pressures. Beneath that, you'll find a danger sticker regarding electrocution. And then just beneath that, you'll find the two discharges on this side, which is the 2.5-inch discharge ports. To the right, you'll find a pressure warning hazard. This is when engaging pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing those caps. To the right, you'll find your large diameter pump intake. It's the Pierce American Flag Eagle. And then all the way to the left, we're going to find all of your associated air outlets and inlets. And then beneath that, you'll find a warning label here regarding your foam, not to mix the different types of foam brands, consistencies, or types. Beneath that, you'll find your foam A and foam B. And then further to the right, just above the driver's side auxiliary inlet, you'll find an additional warning label that only trained personnel should operate this equipment. Further to the right, you'll find your electronic valve here for the override. This is for your transfer valve. And then to the right, you'll find a placard from Watrous indicating the type of pump and the GPM of your pump. To the right, you'll find the drain. And then just beneath that, you'll find your manual pump shift. There are also generator operating instructions and also minimum operation maintenance schedule instructions. Down across the bottom, you'll find all your associated drains color-coded and labeled. Close up here of the intercom system with volume on the left and a talk push button on the right. Here are the air outlets and also the foam A and foam B access points.
This is that Watrous placard that I was talking about. You have a 1500 GPM pump. As we move to the dunnage area of the vehicle, this is on top just beneath the ladder area, you'll find your Harrison hydraulic generator with a visual sight gauge. You do have two tanks, foam A and foam B tanks. They're accessed from the top area. Behind the cover is where you'll also find an access point. We'll have the next image here to talk a little bit about what's underneath that cover. This is going to be your aero hydraulic fluid. This is hydraulic only, and you can see the different types of hydraulic oil on the left. Just beneath the ladder, about midship of your apparatus, you'll find the water tank fill location. As we move to the outer edge, you'll find side-facing floodlights, in addition with your side-facing camera, which allows you to gain access for visualing where your outrigger will be placed. Just beneath that, you do have a pan door. We'll talk about that in the next set of images. This is behind the pan door. It is a 200-foot electrical cord. As we move down, you can see this is the cord reel rewind, and it is a 20 amp 200-foot cord. As we move to the very first compartment on the driver's side, let's take a look in the upper left-hand corner and then on the roof of this compartment also, and we'll identify the components within this area. First, let's start on the left with the Harrison generator module. That is your amps for lines 1 and 2. As we move to the right, you'll find the G1, which stands for generator. It is a continuous power supply, and that is the breaker box just above that. There's also a warning label here regarding electrical shock and hazard. This is your 8.0 Harrison generator, the information here regarding the voltage and frequency. This is just a close-up of the G1 indicating the breaker panel. As we move further to the left, you'll find your control module, and then located just on the roof of this compartment is also where you'll find when plugged into shore outlet, this will activate, which is your battery charging system. As we move further back, the blue cap is going to be your 4.5 US gallon DEF tank. Between the two rear wheels, you'll find bottle storage location and an emergency warning light. As we look just above in the compartment, you'll find LED lighting. This is a drop-down shelf, which will allow you to pull out and then tilt downward. As we move to the next compartment, you'll find additional LED lighting in all of those compartments. Just beneath that area, you'll find your ultra low sulfur diesel fuel. This is going to be the silver cap. And then right next to it, you'll find an additional bottle storage location for one bottle. As we move further to the back, you'll find your outrigger pads located just underneath the compartment at the rear wheel location. Above in this compartment, you'll also find a pull-out style shelf. The release mechanism is on the right. As we looked for warning labels here, there is a warning and also danger label regarding crush and also not to ride on the side of the apparatus. This is in the outrigger location behind the silver or stainless steel components. To the right, behind the ladder, is where you're going to find your inclinometer for front to rear from 0 to 15 degrees. As we move to the rear of the apparatus, you'll find two cupped switches, one deck lights and the other is your hose bed. Just above that, you'll find a pan door which houses your warning buzzer. This is a remote which has a push button on the top. Just beneath, or I should say above that location, you'll find another pan door which houses the controls for your aerial stabilizers. On the left-hand side, there are some danger and warning labels. As we look to the center, you'll find an emergency stop button, a protected override switch, and to the right, your stabilizer power with a green light indicating you have access or power. To the right, you'll also find a diagnostic interface. Down in the lower section, this is the remote, and we'll have a few images and talk a little bit about that in the next set of images. This is your stabilizer control module. As you can see in the very top, you'll have a power indicator that you have power to the unit. There is also a stabilizer not stowed indicator. Beneath the Pierce logo, you'll find stabilizer EPU and then level assist. On the outer edges, you'll find 4 control modules individually control each of the stabilizer jacks. Once the stabilizer jacks are fully extended, you'll receive a fully extended indicator light in green. Once all 4 of those are fully extended, you'll also find 4 additional firm on ground indicators indicating 8 total green lights for best practices in setting up your aerial device. Let's move now to the compartment which houses your ground ladders. To the right of that, you'll find a warning label regarding, once again, entanglement because of hose coming out of the top of this area, and also a fall hazard and not to ride on the side of your apparatus or rear of the apparatus. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll find folding 10-foot attic ladders. You'll also find additional tool storage for long-handled tools, and then all your associated ground ladders. As we move to the left, because of this being an aerial device, there is an electrocution hazard, and that is equipment that is not insulated. Directly in the center, you'll find your backup camera. Just above that, you'll find your traffic advisor, and then to the right, you'll find your through compartment, which is a pan door housing your hose. Down in the lower section, you're going to find, once again, a warning label here regarding pressurized caps. When removing those caps, use caution. In the center, you'll find your aerial inlight behind the Pierce American flag Eagle logo. Located in the center, you'll find a right to left inclinometer. And then to the right, behind the pan door, you'll find your aerial drain. We'll talk about that in a moment. And in the upper right, you'll find a warning label regarding the use of anchors and making sure that you use a direct pull with those anchors. Let's take a look inside the pan door here. You'll find the ball valve, which is a drain. And then just above that, you'll find your relief valve. This is the set screw to adjust that relief valve. Let's take a quick look up to the top. This is the through compartment to the front of the dunnage area. This is accessed from the rear. As we look to the side of the apparatus, both passenger and drivers have these drop-down ladders. The release mechanism was what the arrow is just pointing at. You'll also find your side-facing cameras, which indicate the location of your outriggers. Also some warning labels here regarding crush injury and also fall hazard. Let's go ahead and move up now to the turntable area. This is the right-hand side of the turntable looking from the rear facing forward. This is your breathing air access fill, and then to the left is going to be the regulator and then 2 gauges just above that location. As we move to the center section, you'll find your aerial device manual controls for extend, retract, right and left, and lower and raise. As we move to the pedestal, a couple of warning labels here regarding electrocution and then also crush injury. There is also a pan style door here. When we'll gain access behind that, this is where the calibration information module is located. In the upper left, you'll find an audible speaker, which does have a bezel control around the outer edge. And at the very top, you'll find your intercom system speaker. This is going to be the calibration for the basket. Please see your owner's manual prior to accessing this menu functions. On your left of the pedestal, you're going to find in the lid some warning and danger labels. As we move to the pedestal controls, in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to find the emergency stop. You'll also find a set of information here regarding lights, rung alignment, and also front basket AC lights. To the right, you're going to find your Pierce Command Zone control module. Down in the lower section, you'll find your stowed or deployed and also nozzle control. And then at the lower section, you'll find the ladder controls. We'll go over those things individually. First, starting at the left, this is your emergency stop. It is a push button. As we move to the right, this is the aerial out of cradle, indicating that it has been lifted out of the cradle. To the left, you'll find your tracking lights and also rung lights. There is a protected switch here for your manual basket leveling disable. And then as we look to the lower section, you'll have front basket AC lights and then under basket AC lights. Moving down further at the base, you'll find your aerial speed for slow, normal, and fast. And then to the right, you'll find your emergency hydraulic power. In the upper right-hand corner is going to be your Pierce control module. Please see your owner's manual for more information about this. To the left, you'll find the deployed or stowed. This is an indicator light and also a protected switch. Down in the lower section, you'll find nozzle control for stream or fog, lower and raise, and right and left. You'll also find extend, retract, right and left, and lower and raise for ladder controls. As we look to the cover on the left-hand side, you'll find your information regarding utilizing your waterway in the dry, meaning not any water within the waterway. And then to the right, you'll find your waterway charged, indicating you have water in the waterway. Just beneath that, you'll find your monitor nozzle positions. And there are some asterisks down at the lower section here that I'd like you to take a look at. This is for icing operations, refer to the owner's manual. To the left, you'll find your specification setup and NFPA 1911 testing chart. As we look back to some close-ups, this is your intercom system with volume and talk. You'll also find on the ladder to the right side, you'll find your inclinometer from 0 to -10 and from 0 to 80 degrees. Just a quick look at the aerial ladder. This is a 3-section aerial device. As we move to the bucket area, you will find locations for personal safety clamps. In addition, we'll start in the upper left-hand corner, talk a little bit about some of the controls. These same control modules are the same as they are at the pedestal. They may slightly be laid out slightly different in orientation. But at the top, you have your under basket lights, nozzle control, the upper portion, the push button for the emergency stop, aerial speed, and then your manual leveling basket functions. In the center, this control module is removable. These are your ladder controls. Moving to the right, your Pierce command zone. Once again, tremendous amount of information here. Please see your owner's manual for more details. Beneath that, you'll find an audible alarm and also your breathing air. As we look also inside, the same set of warning labels here that were on the cover are located within the bucket area for refreshing your firefighters when in use. There is tip odor or structural failure indications and also additional warning labels. Please see those prior to operation. As we move through the compartments here, you'll find belt storage location in addition with air access points. As we look just over the front area, just a quick glimpse at the discharges and also the aerial device for your master stream. Let's go ahead and move to the outer compartments now, identify some of the functions and also options. First, this compartment, you can see a pull-out shelf, the release mechanism on the lower right-hand side. As we move through the compartments, you'll find all of them have LED lighting. In this area, you'll find the emergency side-facing light and also 2 bottle storage locations. As we move up from this location, you'll find tool board storage. This equipment tool board does have a D handle on the left. On the right-hand side of the hinge side, you will find a release mechanism when it's open and in the locked position. This is an important information here regarding extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. That's what this warning label is here for. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. As we move overhead, you'll find that camera side facing for your stabilizer access. As we look down, I would like to start in this area. In the upper left, you'll find a warning label here regarding not to ride on the side of the apparatus. It is hazardous. There's also, once again, an entanglement hazard. Let's identify a couple of the items here, including this warning label regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing them. There are 2 pan doors on this side. We'll talk a little bit about the contents behind each of those. Let's first start with the 2.5-inch discharges. There are 2 on the passenger side. As we move to the center, because this is an electronic valve, there is a override for that electronic valve. You do have an air horn and also scene light controls. And then just beneath that, you'll find your large diameter pump intake. That is the Pierce American flag Eagle logo. To the right in green, you're going to find your large diameter discharge. Moving further down, you're going to find the 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. We'll talk a little bit behind the access doors, and then across the very bottom, you have all your associated drains. Let's take a look inside one of those compartments. This is your foam A and foam B drain location. That's the access door. As we move to the center, you'll find the passenger main inlet override, close-up of that image. And then as we look forward, you'll have the red air horn switch and the passenger side scene lights. Moving further down, you'll find the large diameter discharge, and to the right, the number 3 passenger side discharge. Across the bottom, color-coded and clearly labeled all your associated drains. 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. This is on the passenger side. Let's move to the cab now. On all points of entry for personnel, you'll find this set of warning labels regarding the use of riding on the side, seeing the owner's manual, and also seatbelt use. As you gain entry, this red strap is to assist firefighters in and out of the cab on the hinge side of the door. We'll talk a little bit behind that door. This is the access panel for your daily checks for oil and transmission. There's also a light width inside that compartment. The next set of images are going to be just shot through the entire cab to identify some of the items within the rear section of the cab. Let's go ahead and look behind the seat is where you'll find your federal siren module. In addition, with an audible speaker here, there is a volume control on the lower right corner of that speaker. Once again, we're in the front section of the cab, point of entry, so we're going to have those caution and warning labels. Your vehicle is also equipped with a supplemental restraint system, that is the SRS, and then beneath that you'll find a warning label regarding not to mount equipment within that area. Seatbelts are easily identifiable. They are red in color to identify if personnel have them on. As we move up from this location, on the side, you'll find these foot pedals mounted on the side regarding your air horn and also your mechanical siren. Moving up from that location, you'll find a 12-volt USB style access point. Here's a close-up of the air horn and mechanical siren pedal. As we look to the center section here, you'll find the siren brake and then USB style 12-volt access. Moving to the front section, you'll find a map light in addition with the red candy cane warning labels regarding additional wiring and numbering behind that wiring. In the upper left, you'll find your vehicle data recorder port. General view overhead will identify those items next. First, starting with the go light, there is an on-off switch for it and then a control module to the left. Moving from the go module to the left, you'll find your FireCom module, which controls your headset or intercom system. And then further to the left, you'll find your unit radio, and just beneath that, your wireless FireCom system. You do have a disconnect for your MDT located on the left-hand side of the dash. It is a protected switch. As we move to the driver's side, once again, point of entry, you'll find those warning labels. Also, you'll find information regarding the use of seat belts. At about right ankle of the operator, you'll find this yellow placard. We'll go over that in the next few moments. This is the manufactured by Pierce for your organization. Just as you look inside, you'll find the battery voltage when plugged into shore power. This will activate. On the left-hand foot area, you'll find the air horn foot pedal. As we move just up from that location, you'll find a set of switches in addition with the engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic ports, and then all your diagnostic and regen information listed below. As we move once again down at that right ankle area, you'll find the manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing for the city of Tucson. It has the date of manufacture, gross vehicle weight ratings, the VIN. It also has cold tire inflation in addition with all of your components for fluid capacities and fluid types. As we move up onto the dash, the left side, you'll find your ignition, start, and hazard lights. To the right, you'll find this small EM switch, which stands for Emergency Master. It will engage your emergency lights. To the right, you'll find your headlights and also your panel dim switch. As we move to the dash cluster, let's start on the left with the transmission, oil, DEF level, and water temp. Located on the right, you'll find volts, fuel, front and rear air. In the center, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. Above and below the tach and speedometer, you'll find additional diagnostic information if necessary. As we look to the very far left in this image, you'll find your air brakes. This is your system parking brakes. Pull to apply, push to release. Located just to the right, you'll find your Pierce command zone. Once again, a tremendous amount of information available. Your Allison transmission pad. Moving further to the right, we'll start with a set of switches. First with your aerial master, aerial PTO, the generator PTO, an aerial out of cradle indicator, stabilizer cameras, platform leveling. The next switch down, you'll find your engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high, off-road traction, front wheel lock, and also mirror heat. Moving to the right, you'll find your electronic siren, perimeter lights, and also a load manager. Just beneath that, you'll find your pump shift. You need 2 green indicators to exit the cab for pump operations. The instructions are on the left from road to pump and from pump to road. Just above this location is where you'll find your mirror controls for the right and left mirror. Also, just above the set of switches, you'll find the driver's side go light. This is your spotlight control. In the very center, you'll find climate control for the heat defrost, heat, and also AC unit. Let's go ahead and move overhead of the operator. You're going to find this yellow placard. First, starting with the height, 11 feet, 11 inches. The length, 47 feet, 2.5 inches. Gross vehicle weight rating at 84,000 pounds. This also has your job number 32694. If you make any changes to your apparatus, please update this placard. Let's start with the just to the right of that, you'll find your generator operating instructions, and then you'll find your emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and then upper rear warning. Any of these lights have been selected, the green indicator light will illuminate. Moving further to the right, you're going to find, this is over the driver's area, high beam flash, your opticom, front scene, driver's side scene, passenger side scene, and then deck lights. Once again, any of these are activated, the green light will illuminate. To the right, you'll find your traffic advisor. Moving further to the right over the operator's area, you'll find your EQ2B. This is your federal signal siren. And then moving further to the right, you'll find additional siren and PA speaker system. Congratulations, Tucson, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32694. If you have any questions regarding the content of this video or future questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.